name is Samir Ramnarayan, and I'm the R&D manager for Defy Cooling. I'm a graduate from UKZN, and I have been with Defy since 2014. Okay, first of all, I'll give you a brief overview of what Defy R&D is all about. Defy has 5 R&D teams. These include laundry, cooking construction, cooking systems, cooling construction, and cooling systems. Overall, there are 53 personnel, which includes engineers, technicians, and expats making up these 5 teams. And we are looking to expand these teams over the next few years. In terms of an organizational structure, our teams consist of graduates, development engineers, project leaders, senior engineers, and then managers. Under our systems teams, we have lab technicians and lab superintendents as well. So as you can see, from the time a young engineer joins the R&D team, there's a clear growth plan for them, and they will be mentored by the team manager, the senior engineers, as well as any individuals they choose to learn from. The scope of work as an R&D engineer in Defy is quite broad. We are responsible for the research, design, and implementation of new projects that includes complete platforms or smaller changes to the product. During the implementation stage of the projects, our R&D engineers are required to spend a lot of time on the factory floor, troubleshooting problems that may arise whilst implementing the product or a change. This is highly beneficial to the individual as it gives them both design and process experience. We are one of 2 organizations currently in South Africa that have accredited labs for energy. This is both for the cooling and cooking departments. When you are a project leader, you will be tasked with managing projects ranging from a few thousand rands right up to 70, 80 million rands at a time. So we work very closely with the quality departments as well as after sales, as well to help reduce defects, as well as improve customer perceptions of our products. Cost management of our product is also a vital part of our daily job. In order to stay ahead of the game and keep our products competitive in the market, we work on what we call material improvement projects. We do this regularly to help achieve our competitiveness and a good cost points. With Defy being a global company, we have R&D facilities all over the world, namely Turkey, Romania, Thailand, UK, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. This, accompanied with the diverse work environment at our offices, young engineers are afforded an excellent opportunity to grow as an individual and also on a professional level. So as you can see, there are many cross-functional teams in Defy. I like to describe R&D as a center of a spider diagram, if you can imagine, with all other departments like product management, process engineering, purchasing, planning, quality, and production being managed by project leaders, which are part of the R&D team to implement a new product or a change to an existing product. There are also opportunities to travel abroad for young engineers that are part of Defy. As mentioned, we have other subsidiaries around the world. So whenever we do new projects or learning new technology, sometimes we are afforded the opportunity to visit these factories and learn from them or look at the new technologies that's being implemented there. So in a nutshell, I'd like to say it's an exciting time to be part of the Defy family, especially for R&D, process, and industrial engineering. The opportunities, accountability, and exposure afforded to young engineers are second to none. And at Defy, age is not an obstacle. If you're hardworking, intelligent, and a good team player, you will be considered for growth opportunities should they arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir. Because Shaman, you can't hear her, then Shaman, if you can hear me, you can move on to the next slide for our next speaker.
Sure, Shansha.
Great. Now we can hear you, Charmaine.
Sure. Stella, are you online?
Charmaine, I'm online. Good morning, everyone. This is Stella Poster from Defy Appliances. I'm currently working in Ladysmith for our process department, but I'll explain more as we go ahead. Basically, we have the process department, but mostly on the project side. Basically, as students, you should know that on your final year, you have a final year project. But with the final year project, you go with for research. After you're researching, you have your final year, you have to implement the project, whereby you get a budget. So similar things applies to us. We do not just do projects. There's research coming from any side, either it's product management or R&D, or from the factory side, where we look at improving the production output, the production as a whole, quality as a whole. So that's the type of stuff we look at as a project. So basically, before we start a project, you need to look at your money, where you're going to get your money from. So we look at capital expenditure. If I just a brief explanation, capital expenditure is the money you're going to spend to either buy, maintain, upgrade, or update your fixed assets in the company. So everything you buy on our side, you'll have to be an asset. It will have to go down under depreciation. So if you guys start buying cars, you'll understand that when you buy a car, it depreciates the minute it leaves the car factory or warehouse. So basically, we look at the project like that. We have set up, so we require money, but firstly, you get a budget approved. So once you get a budget approved, you will get your money from that budget to run a certain project, whether it's R&D, whether it's for the factory. But basically, that's our core job. Basically, we work mostly in factories. So in the next slide that Charmaine can show you, I will explain to you our current project. She can go to the next one. Charmaine, can you go to the next slide? Yes, thank you, Charmaine. Basically, this picture for students, they will understand AutoCAD. So this is actually the layout of our factory. So it's very hard to see because it's a bit small, but anyways, in this layout, you could actually see between 3 production lines. The one on the far right is our fridge line, our combis, and the one in the center is actually our new line that we're implementing currently. It's our side-by-side line. And then on the far left, that's our chest freezer line. So basically in Ladysmith, we have 3 production lines of 3 different fridges that's going on. So basically you will use your skills you get in first year. AutoCAD, we do it in first year, I remember in UKZN. So your skills are not being, will be utilized if you work for us from a design point of view. You get to use your AutoCAD, your NX, your inverter, or SolidWorks. And then basically, this is the current project. And then in the next page, if Charmaine can go over, it's actually the project plan, I think. Charmaine, can you go to the next slide? Sorry. Yes, basically, when you do a project, you must have a project plan. I'm sure students understand this, because every time you do something, you need to know where you start and how you're going to end. So this is basically the project plan we have for this current project. Basically, you will learn as you go ahead. You can see the dates. The dates are actually we are into August now, but that's due to all the strike actions, looting. So basically, when you run a project, it doesn't always go as smooth, and you learn this when you're in final year. You will be behind. They will show you in terms of light saying, okay, this team is behind. So basically, we also have that system that it tells us, okay, guys, we are behind on this point. So yeah, that's about it on our side. That's a project we're doing currently.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And then, yeah, thank you. Innocent can take over now. Thank you guys for listening.
Good morning. Good morning. Can anyone hear me?
Good morning, Innocent.
Loud and clear, Innocent.
Morning.
All right, great. My name is Innocent Vilagazi, a senior project engineer and a graduate from UCT. I've been with Defy for almost 4 years now, and yeah, I'm with the process team. As my colleague Stella Poso has mentioned, that we normally just deal with the projects, which involves continuous improvement, new projects, where I am currently focusing mostly on steel or molds. For my side, I'm based in Jacobs in Durban, so I'm just gonna go through a few projects that we're currently busy with for the year 2021. On the screen there, you can see that Defy is moving away from old ways of manufacturing, which is normally manual operations, which this is a great deal for us as young engineers, and it's pretty much exciting stuff that we deal with. This is one of the first projects that we're doing here in Jacobs that is a fully automated new welding machine that is capable for producing the cavity line or the cavities that we're going to be using for our new outlook for the stove. If Charmaine could probably just play edit a video there that you guys can not that line, yeah. This machine is quite an interesting machine, and this is a new generation type of stuff for Defy. As I said, that we're trying to move away from manual operations, which this has been manually been made by many operators. Now we're trying to move closer to industrial 4.0, which most of you will be very much interested in. And coming into the working industry, you guys have to sort of develop and come up with ideas that is going to improve the factory, the productivity, and just the culture and the new way of manufacturing into the world. So Defy is indeed moving into the new ways of technology. In our team, we're now trying to also move into automation. We have a guy, Tariq, who is handling all our automation projects. So if you are into automation, there is now an opportunity for you to venture in and be able to take part in that. Next slide, Ms. Charmaine. So yeah, and also on the mold side, we deal with press steel. We do a lot of work in the press shop, where we're also trying to now introduce new technologies into the factory. So if Ms. Charmaine can also play the video there in the in-mold transfer. So what you can see there is a steel tool that is responsible for automatically transferring parts from stage to stage. This is also a new technology that we are currently adventuring in Defy. This is really great opportunity for people that like to play around with toys. So such things can also motivate you, especially if you're doing a final year project, to come up with some great ideas into changing technology. Process engineering is also responsible for factory layout development. So as Mr. Posa mentioned, that they're currently busy with a project in Zakeni, which involves pretty much restructuring of the entire factory. So this is one of the greatest things that also is very exciting in our department, that we continuously just improve the factory to make sure that we have great outputs, and the working space is very neat and
up to standard as well. So then the last slide is one of the things that we've actually done before. As you can see, the improvement in the layout of the factory, which is constantly what we do. So pretty much we work closely with everyone in Defy, your finance, your engineering side of which is R&D, as Mr. Samir has mentioned. It's pretty exciting projects that we deal with. So to work for Defy, you will have a greater opportunity in growing as an engineer. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Mark, and I'm the Industrial Engineering Manager for Defy. I am a Wits graduate, and I've been with Defy since the end of 2014. So industrial engineering, we support both the fridge and cooking factories. We work closely with finance, basically all the departments: finance, R&D department, process engineering, production, planning, purchasing. So yeah, we sort of link up with all the departments in the factories. So basically, I'm sure you all know industrial engineering, the basic function. We obviously try and improve productivity within the factory. Our main function is to reduce lead time. We try and improve flow and eliminate waste. I'm sure you all know there are 7 wastes. So that basically defined as overproduction, waiting time, extra processing, unnecessary transport, inventory, unnecessary motion that the workers do, as well as defects. So basically, I'll just show you some of the functions we do at Defy. We do analytic work. So part of the analysis that we do is line balancing on our lines. So at the cooking factory, we have about 14 production lines. So on the slide, this is just an example of the line balancing we do. We use time and motion studies. We calculate the number of heads required from the time and motion studies. We also like to know the distribution of work amongst the operators. So if you look at the graph below, you can see the red line is the takt time, so that's our target time, and then all the blue lines is the operation time per worker. So obviously you can see at the end there's some that are highly loaded that almost reach the red line, and some that are below the red line, so they have additional time. So we like to distribute this evenly. It's not always easy to do or possible, but as far as possible, we like to distribute the load evenly amongst the workers. So from these line balancing, we also work on improving flow in the line, and as well as ergonomics. Once we've got all this data. Next slide, please. So as well as other analysis that we do, we assist with capacity calculations. Reason why, we need to know if we have sufficient machinery to meet our production. We assist our process engineering team with these studies, as well as sometimes we need to know if we don't have capacity, do we need extra investment, or do we need to outsource parts to various suppliers? So this forms a crucial part in our calculations. Next slide, please. So these are also some of the projects that we work on. We are involved in a lot of the production tooling. As you can see, there are various jigs that we help design and get manufactured. So these are just examples there shown for our new 60x60 range. It's another project we've been working on, the new hob shrink wrap machine. So on the left-hand side, you can see we used to strap the hobs. You used to get damages on the hobs from the strapping. Our lines are also a mess, as you can see in our photo on the left. And on the right-hand side, we've introduced a new shrink wrap machine. The hobs are shrink wrapped. It's automated with automated conveying. So this is the new project we're working on. It's a new production line concept. So on the top, you can see we've got 2 production lines, 2 slim lines, 1 and 2. They're basically straight lines. And on the bottom, this is our new concept that is being commissioned at the moment. So we're combining the 2 lines into 1 line. So this new line will replace the 2 lines, and as well as improve the output. Next slide, please. So as you can see on the top pictures, our current production lines, the product sits on wooden line boards that travel on the line, and then we have operators on either side assembling the parts. So on this new line concept, if you can, the bottom photographs. You've got a new concept line boards with jigs mounted to the line boards that travel to each workstation. So the operator doesn't have to hold the products at all. It's all mounted on the jigs, and then the line boards return automatically. Once it's into the line, it returns automatically to the beginning of the conveyor. So that's a new concept that's being commissioned at the moment.
Graduate internship program, which we've just rolled out this year. The application process did go out, and we received about 1,563 applications. However, because of the unrest, we obviously did not proceed with the intake of the intern. The program will then be pushed out to November-December period, and the duration of the internship program is roughly from 4 to 6 weeks. We also do have a graduate program that starts at 12 graduates on at Defy appliances, and the duration of the graduate program is 18 months. We've employed over 20 graduates from 2018 to date across local and global universities. We have also managed to retain, meaning we've managed to employ over 80% of our graduates on a permanent basis. Students, please do look out. LinkedIn around November, December, we will be re-advertising the Fresh Start internship program.